Before we get started with example 1 and our word problems, there are 4 things that you need to remember to do for each problem. The first thing, number 1, you need to be able to define your variable. Number 2, set up your equations. Number 3, solve the system. And your last thing, number 4, give your answer with the correct units. So as we go through our problems, those are the 4 things that we're going to do. Now, as we take a look at example 1, let's read through it. It says, a chef is using a mixture of 2 brands of Italian dressing. The first brand contains 10% vinegar, and the second brand contains 14% vinegar. The chef who wants to make 380 milliliters of dressing, that is 11% vinegar, how much of each brand should she use? So we're going to start with our variable. So number 1, we want to figure out what's our variable and what are we trying to find. We're trying to find out how much of each brand she should use. So we're going to let x equal the number of milliliters. So we want to be specific on what our unit is. Are we looking for milliliters? Are we looking for grams, ounces, whatever it is we're looking for? And here we're looking for milliliters. And we're looking for the number of milliliters of the first brand. And we're looking for, we'll use letter Y, to be the number of milliliters of the second brand. The second thing that we need to do is we need to set up our system of equations. So there's part 1, part 2. Now, if we take a look of what we know, it says the chef is using a mixture of 2 brands of Italian dressing. The first brand contains 10% vinegar, the second 14%. But all in total, the chef wants to make 380 milliliters of dressing. So if this is the number of milliliters of the first brand, and this is the number of the second brand, and we want to make 380 altogether, we can add those up. X plus Y has to equal the total number of milliliters, which is 380. Then, since this is a percent problem, we are going to take the percent of everything that we have. So we want 10% of the first one. We want the second brand to contain 14%, and we want our final one to contain 11%. So I'm going to take each one of these and multiply them by their percent. So X, which is the first brand, we want it to be 10%. So I'm going to take 0.1, which is 10% as a decimal, times X. My second brand, which is Y, is 14%. So I'm going to multiply that by 0.14. Oops. And then my 380, the total that I have, I want that to be 11% vinegar. So I also have to take that 380 and multiply that by its percent, which is 0.11. Now in step 3, we can go ahead and set up to solve. So in part 3, when I'm solving my equation, I'm going to rewrite what I had in part 2. So my first equation was x plus y equal to 380. And then my second equation, I have 0.1x plus 0.14y. Remember, there's a decimal there. Equal to, now I have 380 times 0.11 here. In part 3, I'm going to go ahead and multiply those, so I just have one number that I'm dealing with. 380 times 0.11 is going to give me 41.8. So I'm going to write 41.8 here. Then I need to go ahead and solve this system. To solve the system, I have to eliminate either my x's or my y's. Since my x is first, I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate that x. And if I eliminate that x, I'm going to be multiplying through by negative 0.1. So I'm going to multiply this whole top equation by negative 0.1. And that's going to give me negative 0.1x minus 0.1y equal to negative 0.1 times 380 is negative 38. And my bottom equation is going to stay the same. I have 0.1x plus 0.14y y equal to 41.8. Now I can go ahead and add these two together. My x's will cancel out. Negative 0.1 plus 0.14 is 0.04 y equal to negative 38 plus 41.8 is 3.8. Then I have to divide both sides by 0.04, and I get y equal to 95. Well, if y is 95 and x plus y is 380, I can find x by just taking the 380 and subtracting the 95. So I know that x has to be equal to 285. And my last step, step 4, is to write my answer with the correct units. So I want 285 milliliters of the first brand. And I want 95 milliliters. Oops, this is 285. I want 95 milliliters of the second brand. Next, I would like you to do the try this. It's going to be very similar with the percents. So go ahead and pause it, unpause it when you're ready to check your answer. If you did the try this correctly, you should get 20 ounces of solution A, and you should get 10 ounces of solution B. If you did not get these, please raise your hand and I will come around and help you.